Hey guys, Ben with Driven by Art. In this video, we're going to take you behind the scene of a shoot that we did with Quiet and 1320 Video. It was a motorcycle shoot with a lot of DFW's biggest bike accounts and kind of just fast bikes. So just enjoy the video. Now we did have some issues with sound. We kind of had a whole shoot planned and then we got rained out, so we ended up in a parking garage that had a metal rooftop, so the sound was atrocious. So fortunately that means you're going to just have to deal with voiceovers for this video, but moving forward you'll see a little bit more of this type of video with us explaining what we're doing. And then we're also going to throw in some coming back to the desk here to actually show you how I edit some of the pictures, and we'll have some b-roll in there as well. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video, and let us know in the comments if there's anything else you'd like to see. Alright, so I want to just take a quick minute to talk to you guys about at least one of the shots that you just saw taken in the previous scene and kind of go through the process I go through when editing it. You can see the raw file versus the end result, which you'll find is quite a lot darker than what the raw file is. It might actually kind of surprise you in the event that you've seen some of my pictures on Instagram. They're a lot darker edited than they are shot. I don't actually shoot dark, I just edit dark. So let's just jump in and kind of show you how I get there. Alright, so here's the raw photo that we just shot a few shots ago, and this is actually a really cool scene because it's the three bikers kind of side by side, pretty evenly spaced out, with the smoke kind of just went past them and it got caught by the light. So it's actually I really like this shot. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cropping it, because I'm going to use some of my presets, and if I crop it, especially on the masks, it actually applies better. So I'm going to crop pretty tight because I want to get rid of that car, most of it. I think once it's mostly gone, it won't be as noticeable. I'm trying to get the orange bike DK to be kind of in the center. This is not quite straight either, so I'm gonna try and fix that. This looks pretty good, so there's that. So I do have a collection of presets that I've made over the time that I've spent editing pictures. That's pretty much just sliders. So I have one that just does my lines correction and then sharpening. I'll fix the actual feather of it later. And then below that is my second step, which is all these basic settings right here. I've made one for this shoot since, so here's what it is. As you can see, kind of makes the image look a little bit flat, but it takes out all the shadows, all the highlights, kind of makes it a little bit flatter to where I can see more of the details. And then I do have a tone curve specifically for this one that brings back that contrast. After that, my color grade for almost this whole set is been kind of bluish a little bit. And as you can see, this is still pretty bright. I'm gonna mess with this. I'm thinking 80 is probably good. You can see that they kind of pop against the background, so that works out for me. And then I'm gonna close this, go to my masks. I've got a preset for masks for this specific set that almost every single one of them has this, and as you can see, like as I'm going over, it's adding different masks, but I have one in here that should be called Quiet Garage. So this one is actually 3 masks together. It is one on the bikes on subject to make them pop a little bit more. It is mostly just extra exposure, contrast, a little bit of a tone curve, a little bit of extra clarity, and then some saturation, and then this. So this is how I remove clarity from my image for the most part. As you can see, this is -1 stop of exposure, but also -24 clarity. And then I do have this in here, which is a gradient that goes from the bottom that makes it darker at the bottom and adds clarity back into the bottom, just because I really like the lights flaring, so I wanted that to be there. But yeah, that's most of the edit. You can do something fun here also, which would be a linear gradient from this side, because there is sunlight coming through here. And I'm gonna want it to stop kind of just over the middle bike, and then go tap all the way up, add a little bit of saturation, and then if you do this duplicate and invert mask, it will give you the opposite mask, and it doesn't copy the settings over. And then tamp, maybe not all the way to cold, but we'll go like 28, 30, and then give it a little bit more saturation as well, so that it's more even on the image, and it kind of gives it a warm versus cold side to it, and it looks pretty neat. 2 last things I'm gonna do. The first one is, I know I said I had this this sharpening preset. I'm gonna mess with it just because I really want the bikes to pop. So when you hold down Alt on the Windows PC or Option on Mac and slide the slider, it kind of shows you what it's sharpening. So everything that's white is getting sharpened. I don't want too much of the background sharpened because it takes away from the subjects. So I'm gonna probably leave it around right here. That looks good to me. And then I'm gonna do the AI denoise. This was shot at 1600 ISO, so there's a little bit of noise. I've already played with it. I know that 55 is what's good enough, so I'll show you the result when it's done. Alright guys, well here's the final result. As you can see, all the noise is gone. There was definitely some noise in the bike without the denoise. You can see the paint of the bike, and then the headlight flare had more noise in it as well as the smoke, but that's all gone. It looks really nice. I'm actually very happy with this picture, and it's definitely something I would post. Either way, for now, let's get back to the actual shoot, and then we'll come back here to do another edit here in a little bit.
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot him in the head.
guys, welcome back to the editing desk. On this one we're going to go a little bit quicker since I've already explained some of my presets and edit this beautiful picture of DK's Hayabusa and the S1000RR from Cruise. Okay, so kind of the same thing. This time we're going to start with the crop. I don't really feel the need to crop into it from the sides. I'm more cropping for an Instagram post, so 4x5 or 8x10. That looks good to me. Before I start, I'm actually going to remove this because it's very distracting, and this. So I always try and kind of remove things that are going to take the eye away from the main subject, which obviously is the bikes here. We're going to go with the normal lens correction and sharpening. My basic sliders, which right here looks good. I'm going to go with my little tone curve to add the contrast back into it again. And then colors on this one are a little bit different. I went with a cooler highlight. It's a teal actually instead of an orange. And then I've got a set of I have a set of masks here that actually works really good. So the first one is the bikes. I know it selected the center here. That doesn't really bother me. You can't really tell that it's editing that much, so it's good, but it's mainly just adding, again, same thing, making it pop, adding in some saturation, some contrast through a curve tone and extra contrast, and then some exposure, obviously. The same mask here, as earlier. I do have a quick little mask right here on the plate to make it pop a little bit more, just because that is the product we're shooting. And I do have this. So this is actually a mask. It's a radial gradient around the bike, mostly on the outside of it. It's high feather. And then I subtract the subject, and then I brushed a little bit of it off because it was extra, and then added the object. And basically it goes all the way around the bike. I increase the exposure a little bit. Sometimes when I do this, I'll actually decrease the dehaze, but just to show you the difference, it makes the bike pop from the background just a little. It's very subtle, but it's there. So that's pretty much the whole edit on this one. I would, again, I played with the exposure on this one already through the preset, but that's completely up to you. Obviously, if you use presets like these, you would adjust this as you go, and we're gonna do the same thing as earlier and do the masking on the sharpening. I do want this part right here to be very sharp, so that's the main focal point for me. And then denoise, and we'll show you the result. Alright, well, there's the result of the picture. I actually think it looks really good again. Just very sharp right here on this line, which was the main focus area. Very well in focus. It is shot at a higher f-stop. It's at f4.0, so that the plate is also in focus. I really like the accent from this, but yeah, it's one of my favorite photos from this shoot, actually. Out of the way, let's get back to shooting for a little bit. We'll do one more, and then that will be it. See you guys here in a little bit. Alright, well, welcome back to the desk, guys. This is the last of the edits. Also, one of my favorite pictures from this shoot, especially because of the way the scene was set. So this is the raw photo. The red and blue lights really give it a really cool vibe. And it's not as straight as I would like for it to be, but that's nothing we can't fix. We're going to crop in. We're going to use this line from the window back here to actually kind of help us level this, so that really helps right here. Plus the headlights of the bikes seem to be straight now. We're gonna want this one to be very centered, so we're gonna crop in just a little bit. I think I'm gonna use the outside of the fairing here, but that's it for the crop. And then I'm just gonna paste the settings just because it will be faster. That is something you can do. So here's the edit. On the masks, I'm back to the same thing as the first one. So one for the subjects that I want to pop, a mask around it to decrease clarity, one here to darken the ground, and then this is actually for the sky. So on the sky, all I did really is darken it a little bit and give it a little bit of additional reds. So that kind of looked good to me. One thing I'm gonna do here again is a little bit of cleanup, things that are distracting. There's this one, I think there's one more around here somewhere. this one because it's kind of tack sharp, and this one. And then there's a little bit of, you know, these guys actually rode through part of the storm that we got to get to the shoot, so they picked up some dirt on the way. Just to make it a little bit nicer, we're gonna clean that up real quick, make sure that the other bike doesn't have anything. We're good. And then just two more things. These little black dots on the wall behind them are kind of distracting because they are right by their heads. But yeah, I think looks pretty good. We're gonna do the sharpening trick and then the denoise, and we'll show you the final result. Alright guys, well here's the final image there. Very happy with this one as well. Again, I think that was a really cool scene, the way they set it up with the red and blue lights. There's a little bit of the smoke coming in from the side, and then the sky in the background that has a sunset that's already set, but it's still lighting up the clouds. But yeah, that's it for this shoot. We really had a blast shooting with Quiet and all the guys that showed up with the bikes. Those guys were amazing. They were very much fun to hang out with. I wish that the audio wasn't terrible so that you could hear what was going on, because there was a lot of banter and kind of smack talking, but in a good way, in a good fun way. So it was definitely fun to be a part of this. And again, you know, we hope you enjoyed this video. Kind of show you an insight on how we do our photo/video shoots. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. We've got some really cool behind the scene footage. However, my dog will not shut up, so there's that.
Did anyone get me falling on video?
I might have. I'll have to check.
Hey, if you do, can you send it?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm doing the same shot. Watch.
He's gonna switch the lights real quick.
Ooh. On Instagram, and